Right now, a silent, relentless theft is bleeding the best years of your existence into a colossal corporate machine. You have been sold a masterpiece of a lie, but there is an exact mathematical blueprint to unlock your cage, a violently guarded secret the Matrix prays you never discover. Listen closely to the quiet hum of your life right now. Underneath the noise of the gridlocked traffic, beneath the blinding glare of the monitors you stare at for 10 agonizing hours a day, there is a silent, relentless theft occurring. Every morning, a shrill alarm violently rips you from the comfort of sleep, and you willingly surrender the most sacred, non-renewable resource you will ever possess: the fleeting, irreversible seconds of your own mortality. You are bleeding your precious time into a colossal corporate machine, trading the absolute best years of your existence for brittle pieces of paper. And the most heartbreaking part? You are likely doing this to finance a piece of glass and metal in your pocket on the multi-year installment plan, or to lease a car you cannot truly afford, driven on roads you despise, purely to extract a fleeting nod of approval from strangers you do not even like. You have been sold a masterpiece of a lie, an illusion so perfectly woven into the fabric of society that you actively defend the very cage that holds you captive. Before we tear down the heavy iron walls of this matrix and reveal the exact mathematical blueprint to your escape, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription is the vital pulse that supports this mission, giving us the relentless motivation to keep producing these profound, life-altering videos to arm you for the future. Welcomes you to a conversation that will fundamentally shatter everything you thought you knew about wealth and freedom. Your well-meaning parents, the antiquated education system, and society at large have drilled a toxic narrative deep into your psyche. They told you to get good grades, secure a safe job, climb an endless and exhausting corporate ladder, and hoard a tiny fraction of your meager paycheck in a basic savings account. They told you to let that lazy money sit there in the dark, watching it get slowly devoured alive by inflation, while you pray that by the time your body is frail and you reach 67 years of age, you might finally earn the permission to rest. I am speaking to you right now as someone who has walked barefoot over the jagged glass of that exact path. I have looked behind the heavy velvet curtain of the financial world, and I can tell you with brutal, unvarnished honesty that this rat race is a perfectly engineered trap. It is an intricate system built to keep you sprinting endlessly on a wheel, generating immense prosperity for a faceless entity while you are left desperately fighting for the scraps falling off the table. Your exhaustion is not a personal failure. It is the mathematical guarantee of a fundamentally broken model. You only have 24 hours in a single day, meaning that if your survival is tethered exclusively to bleeding your time for hourly wages, your true potential is permanently, mathematically suffocated. My own awakening did not come softly. It arrived like a violent shock to the nervous system. It happened during a deeply philosophical immersion into the mindset of a man who operates on an entirely alien frequency, a self-made titan named Mark Tilbury. He did not inherit a massive trust fund or possess shadowy Wall Street connections. Yet, what completely paralyzed me was not his sprawling net worth, but a very specific, haunting metric he casually discussed: earning $67,257 every single week. I need you to pause and let the gravity of that exact figure crush your preconceived limits. When your conditioned, impoverished brain hears a number like that, it immediately triggers a defensive barricade. You instinctively whisper to yourself that he must be working 200 hours a week, that he struck some unbelievable lottery of luck, or that he is operating in the shadows of illegality. That is the terrified voice of the rat race whispering in your ear, desperate to keep you asleep. The profound reality is that he does not work 1,000,000 times harder than you do. He simply performed the ultimate act of financial rebellion. He violently severed the heavy chain connecting his income to his time. He built autonomous systems where his money and his assets work tirelessly in his place, forcing a radical mindset shift that you must internalize right in this very heartbeat. You have been suffocated by the old adage that money does not grow on trees, a phrase specifically engineered by the elite to force you into a lifetime of subservient scarcity. I am looking you dead in the eye and telling you that wealth absolutely does grow on trees, but only if you are the architect who has the agonizing grit to plant the seed, bleed into the soil, and aggressively cultivate the living, breathing organism of passive income. But let us strip away the cheap illusions right now. Passive income is not a lazy internet fantasy of sipping cocktails on a tropical beach while cash magically rains from the heavens. It requires an agonizing, intense, heavily front-loaded season of pure, unadulterated sacrifice. You work with obsessive intensity once to build the heavy engine, and then that engine relentlessly pays you for the rest of your life, laying the foundation for your freedom fund. I absolutely despise the term retirement fund because it implies you are obsolete, exhausted, and simply waiting to die. A freedom fund is the financial fortress that allows you to wake up tomorrow morning and do exactly what sets your soul on fire, with whoever you choose, on your own, uncompromising terms. Staring at $67,000 a week is paralyzing, so we must violently deconstruct it to a psychological tipping point. Your goal, starting the very second this video ends, is not to become a millionaire by tomorrow morning. Your sole, obsessive mission is to construct a system that generates exactly $100 a week, completely detached from your physical labor. Why such a modest, seemingly insignificant number? Because it is mathematically within your immediate grasp, and more importantly, it is psychologically explosive. The very first Sunday morning you wake up, reach for your phone through blurry eyes, and realize you manifested $100 into existence while you were lost in a dream. The entire architecture of your reality permanently shifts. You suddenly understand that if the matrix can be hacked for $100, it can be ruthlessly optimized for 1,000, and eventually 10,000. It is the absolute, undeniable proof you need that the system can be beaten, and that your time is finally, truly yours again. That first $100 is the spark, but turning a fleeting spark into an unquenchable inferno requires a complete, almost violent rewiring of how you interact with the physical and digital world around you. You must permanently murder the consumer mindset that society has so carefully cultivated within you since childhood. Until this exact moment, you have been programmed to look at the world through the lens of extraction. You see a new piece of technology, a streaming service, or a piece of real estate, and your brain immediately calculates how many hours of your life you must bleed away to acquire it. The elite, the architects of the Matrix, rely on this predictable behavior to keep their autonomous systems heavily fueled by your continuous labor. To break free, you must cross the invisible chasm and step into the fiercely guarded territory of the producer. When you look at the world, you can no longer see things to consume. You must only see systems to build, problems to solve, and value to distribute. This profound metamorphosis requires you to look inward and audit every single skill, passion, and piece of knowledge you possess. I had to sit in silence in a dimly lit room, staring at a blank piece of paper and ask myself what I could offer the world that did not require my physical presence to deliver. You must begin constructing digital real estate, automated businesses, or investment portfolios that act as your proxies. Think of these creations as digital clones of yourself, entities that do not require sleep, do not get sick, and never ask for a vacation. They work relentlessly in the dark, in the cold, and across time zones, capturing value while you rest. Whether it is writing a piece of software, creating educational content, building an e-commerce infrastructure, or strategically allocating capital into dividend-producing assets, you are engaging in the sacred act of building a machine. At first, the machine will look pathetic. It will be constructed of duct tape and fragile ideas, generating pennies for every gallon of sweat you pour into it. Your conditioned brain will scream at you to abandon it, reminding you that your corporate master would have paid you $30 an hour for the same time spent. You must ruthlessly silence that voice. You are not working for an hourly wage anymore. You are painstakingly laying the brickwork of your own financial fortress, and the architecture of autonomy demands a completely different metric of success. Every hour you spend building an asset is an hour you are buying back from your future, securing a perimeter around your life that no boss, no corporation, and no economic downturn can easily penetrate. Yet, planting those seeds and fiercely guarding them as they take root will plunge you into one of the most agonizingly isolating and brutally demanding chapters of your entire existence. We have to strip the romanticism away from entrepreneurship right now, because the harsh reality is that the journey to reclaiming your time is paved with profound loneliness and relentless doubt. When you decide to sever your reliance on the traditional paycheck, you are actively choosing to become an anomaly in a society that aggressively demands conformity. Your friends, your family, and your peers will watch you decline invitations to social events, dinners, and weekend getaways. They will see you pouring your evenings and weekends into a project that currently yields absolutely zero financial return. And they will look at you with a mixture of pity and concern. They will tell you to be realistic, to come back to the safety of the herd, and to stop chasing childish fantasies. Hearing those words from the people you love is a deeply heavy emotional burden. It creates a psychological friction that makes you question your own sanity. I remember staring at my computer screen at 2 in the morning, my eyes burning, my bank account dangerously low, wondering if the skeptics were right and if I was just a fool sacrificing my youth for an impossible dream. This is the crucible, the ultimate filtering mechanism designed by the universe to weed out the tourists from the deeply committed. The Matrix relies on this exact friction to break your spirit and force you back into the cubicle. To survive this season, you must develop a callus over your emotions and an almost delusional level of faith in the unseen momentum you are building. You have to understand that the heavy, front-loaded sacrifice is the toll you must pay to cross the bridge into financial sovereignty. You are condensing 40 years of corporate suffering into 5 years of intense, hyper-focused, unadulterated grind. It means waking up hours before the sun to work on your systems before you drag yourself to your day job. It means investing every spare dollar into your business or your portfolio instead of medicating your exhaustion with retail therapy. You will fail. You will lose money. And you will experience moments of profound despair where the weight of the machine feels like it is crushing your chest. But you must hold on to the undeniable truth that every failure is simply data, a necessary recalibration of your engine. The sacrifice is not a punishment. It is the fiery forge where your identity is completely melted down and recast from the fragile mindset of an employee into the unbreakable titanium of a creator. But if you can survive that suffocating darkness without surrendering, the engine will eventually catch, and you will be introduced to the terrifying, beautiful magic of compound momentum. This is the exact phase where the linear reality of trading time for money permanently shatters, and you step into a realm where mathematics begins to work exclusively in your favor. Once your system generates that first reliable $100 a week, the blueprint is validated, and your only objective shifts to aggressive, unapologetic scaling. You begin to realize that money is not just a medium of exchange to be hoarded in a bank account. Money is an army of highly trained soldiers. Every single dollar that your automated systems generate is a soldier that you immediately send back onto the battlefield to capture more soldiers. You do not spend your initial passive income on lifestyle inflation. Instead, you reinvest it with cold, calculated precision to multiply the force of your engine. As you optimize your digital real estate, refine your investments, and build supplementary income streams, a profound mathematical shift occurs. The growth ceases to be additive and becomes violently exponential. Moving from $100 a week to $1,000 a week takes significantly less time and effort than it took to generate the first 100, because you are no longer relying on your own raw labor. You are leveraging systems, capital, and the unyielding power of compounding. This is how men like Mark Tilbury operate. They do not have one fragile stream of income. They have an intricate, redundant web of assets. They own equities that pay dividends, real estate that generates rent, businesses managed by competent operators, and intellectual property that yields royalties. If one stream temporarily dries up, the river continues to flow unhindered. As your army of soldiers multiplies into the tens of thousands, you will experience a deeply surreal psychological transition. You will watch your net worth increase while you are eating dinner, while you are taking a walk in the woods, or while you are fast asleep. You will finally understand that the ceiling on your earning potential was always a manufactured illusion. By completely divorcing your income from the 24 hours in a day, your capacity to generate wealth becomes virtually infinite, governed only by the efficiency of the systems you have built and the scale of the value you provide to the world. Crossing that mathematical threshold where your passive income permanently eclipses your living expenses is the exact moment the heavy iron doors of your cage swing open, revealing a world where time finally belongs exclusively to you. This is the ultimate realization of the Freedom Fund, and I need you to understand that it has absolutely nothing to do with accumulating material excess. The media has polluted the concept of wealth by equating it with gaudy mansions, roaring supercars, and a constant, exhausting display of superiority. But when you finally look behind the curtain of true financial sovereignty, you realize that the ultimate luxury is beautifully, profoundly quiet. It is the overwhelming peace of waking up on a random Tuesday morning, listening to the rain against your window, and knowing that you do not have to be anywhere for anyone at any time. It is the ability to look at your aging parents and have the financial power and the absolute time freedom to care for them. It is the privilege of watching your children grow up, being present for every insignificant, magical moment rather than hearing about it secondhand from a caretaker while you sit in traffic. Wealth is not the accumulation of paper. It is the active, deliberate reclaiming of your mortality. It is the power to finally explore the deepest depths of your own potential, to write the book that has been burning in your soul, to build the charity that changes lives, or to simply sit in stillness and breathe without the crushing anxiety of survival hanging over your head. You only get one incredibly brief, fragile rotation on this planet. The tragedy of the human condition is not that we die, but that we allow the absolute best parts of ourselves to die while we are still breathing, suffocated by the demands of a system that views us as nothing more than replaceable cogs. I am speaking directly to the quiet desperation in your chest right now. You possess the agency to rewrite the entire trajectory of your bloodline. It will require a terrifying leap of faith, an agonizing season of sacrifice, and a complete dismantling of your current reality. But the alternative is to spend the next 40 years slowly bleeding out your time, only to arrive at the end of your life exhausted, full of regret, and wondering what might have happened if you had just possessed the courage to build your own door. The matrix is unlocked. The blueprint is in your hands. Your time is ticking away right now, in this very second. Reclaim it. The journey to ultimate financial and personal sovereignty is not a gentle transition, but a deliberate and often painful dismantling of the consumer mindset society programmed you to accept. True autonomy requires you to evolve from a lifelong consumer into a relentless producer. This transformation demands that you stop trading your finite time for an hourly wage and start constructing digital, financial, or automated assets that work tirelessly on your behalf. Building this machine plunges you into a crucible of profound sacrifice, where you must endure the skepticism of peers, profound isolation, and the heavy burden of delayed gratification. You are actively condensing a lifetime of traditional corporate drudgery into a few years of hyper-focused grind. However, if you withstand this pressure without surrendering, you unlock the mathematics of exponential freedom. Your assets begin to compound, and your money transforms into an army of soldiers deployed to capture more wealth. Ultimately, this arduous path is never about accumulating flashy material possessions or feeding your ego. It is about the profound, quiet luxury of reclaiming your mortality. Wealth is the absolute ownership of your time, granting you the power to care for your loved ones, pursue your genuine passions, and exist without the crushing anxiety of survival. You hold the blueprint to break free. The only variable left is your courage to act. The most dangerous illusion we are taught is that time equals money. The profound truth is that trading time for money is a mathematical trap designed to keep you dependent. True wealth is not generated by raw labor, but by leverage, creating systems and assets that operate entirely independent of your physical presence. Your time is strictly finite, but your capacity to build compounding systems is virtually infinite. Start by conducting a brutal audit of your daily habits. Identify the hours you currently bleed away on mindless consumption, scrolling social media, watching television, or engaging in retail therapy to cope with work exhaustion. Reclaim just 2 hours every evening to learn a high-leverage skill or build a scalable asset, whether that is starting an e-commerce store, writing a blog, learning to code, or researching dividend-paying investments. Take a strict percentage of your current paycheck and, instead of inflating your lifestyle, deploy it directly into those assets. Treat your after-hours work not as a second job looking for an immediate payout, but as the foundational brickwork of a fortress that will eventually buy back your future. If you had complete control over your time and money was no longer an issue, what is the very first thing you would do on a random Tuesday morning? Please share your thoughts in the comments below so we can all read and be inspired by each other's unique visions of freedom. If you found value in this message, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel. It gives us the immense motivation to keep creating more powerful content for you.